Hey gaming fans, so today I have a new Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. This one is kind of like a deck that I like to revisit every once in a while, and it kind of works sometimes it doesn't. It's a fun kind of troll deck. You can kind of win on the first turn. This is the whole point of this deck, is to try and win on the first turn. There's always going to be some kind of speed bumps or something that's going to stop you. And of course your win condition is Exodia. Let me get to the deck and I'll explain the choices. So obviously we have the 5 pieces of Exodia. You can't win without them. So that's your first one. Then the rest of the deck. So for the monsters, we have 3 Royal Magical Library. Now this is pretty much the linchpin of the deck. You want to get this card right away, turn 1, opening hand if you can. And if you can, then your chances of actually winning on turn 1 are a little bit higher. And, because every time you activate a spell card, you put a counter on this card, and then after 3 spell counters are on this card, you remove them to draw a card. So turn 1, if you normal summon, then you start playing all your spell cards. The rest of the deck, I decided to try the Dragon draw portion. So we have White Stone of Legend, which is a Dragon Tuner, 300 attack. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you add 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So the whole point of this is you got to draw a card for this card, and you have a draw card for your Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is right here. All you have to do is send this card to the graveyard, and then you get this one, and you use that for discarding as well. And then for more of the discard fodder, Labradorite Dragon. That's a weird name. So basically, it's another Dragon Tuner. It's a normal monster. It really doesn't matter, but the whole point of it is it's dark and it's 0 attack, so it actually works with 2 of the draw cards in the deck, which I'll explain. And I got 2 tunes in this deck. Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, which is a level 8, and Toon Cannon Soldier, which I'll explain as well. So that's it for the monsters. You're not going to really be using them as monsters. It's all just for discarding. Now for the spells. So Toon Table of Contents. So we got 3 of those. So the whole point is you either grab your Dark or you grab your trade-in target, basically what you're doing. So that's for Allure of Darkness, if you have that in your hand, or if you have trade-in, you grab Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. And it's just really also to thin out your deck. And for the rest of the spells, we got Upstart Goblin. This deck was a lot better when, obviously, this card was at 3. Same with the next one, One Day of Peace. These are just like literally just draw 1 card. One Day of Peace is so much better as well, because for sure you're going to live next turn if your opponent tries to attack you. Problem is, they do get a card as well. But you're trying to win on turn 1 with this deck in most cases. But it's just good to know that if you do activate One Day of Peace, you could at least live on your next turn and then try on turn 2. So then we got the 3 Allure of Darkness. So really this deck is just trying to draw the crap out of itself. So you can, you got targets for your Allure of Darkness, which is these guys. They're all dark monsters. But you also have your Toon Cannon Soldier if you need to. And we have 3 trade-ins. So the trade-ins, again, are for your Blue Eyes White Dragons. So they're level 8s. And you have your Toon Dragon. So those are all your trade-in targets. And then the cards of consonants. So all these cards are pretty much just draw 2 cards. All you have to do is discard a certain card. So cards of consonants, you can discard this guy, or you can discard your White Stone of Legend. This would be your better target, because then you actually get the Blue Eyes to your hand for your trade-in targets. And then 3 Dark World Dealings. There's going to be a lot of times where you just don't have anything to do. Like if you have a Blue Eyes in your hand and you don't have a trade-in, you can discard it. You can discard your White Stone of Legend, get your Blue Eyes. So really it doesn't matter. Or if you have a dead draw card in your hand that you can't use, you use Dark World Dealings. So you get to draw a card and then discard a card. Then I threw 1 Dragon Shrine in there. Again, just to throw out your White Stone of Legend. So you can do a trick where you throw, say, one of these guys, or your Blue Eyes, and then a White Stone will be your second target, and then you'll grab your Blue Eyes from the search for your White Stone. So it's really just a quick, way to get stuff going into your grave. Then 2 Super Rejuvenations. Now the problem with this card is you'll only get the draw at the end of your turn, so I put 2 in there. So the hope is that if you start drawing like crazy, and if you're discarding dragons with your Dark World dealings, with eventually in your trade-ins, eventually you'll discard like quite a few, and then you'll draw as many as you've discarded. And then if you draw into another Super Rejuvenation, then you can activate the second one and draw more cards. And just to help that go along, we have a reload. In case you draw a crap number of cards in your hand and you still don't have your Exodia, you can try with the reload. So essentially what's happening is during your end phase, you're activating the Super Rejuvenation. And then if you get the second one in your hand, you activate that one. And if you still didn't win with Exodia, you just shuffle your entire hand back into your deck, redraw your hand, and hope you get it then. So really, I mean, this deck is fun. It's more like almost like a solitaire deck. It's something you'd want to like play and kind of tweak as you go along. This is by no means like a perfect deck. There is bricks, obviously you're gonna get brick hands, and it's hard ratio when you're looking at the monsters. Like, do you want to play 3 of the Royal Magical Library because you kind of need them? You don't necessarily need the Toon monsters. I threw them in there because you need targets for your trade-in and your allure. So the ratios you can change around and just try it out. Another card that's absent from this deck because it became banned was Chicken Game. So we used to play like 3 Chicken Game in this deck, and you can't play any anymore. So really, having one upstart, one Day of Peace kind of does hurt the deck, but still fun to explore and experiment every once in a while. Anyways, yeah, so this is my Dragon Draw Exodia deck. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Throw some comments down below. What would you take out? What would you put in? Am I missing anything critical? It's a fun deck. Anyways, hope you like the deck. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.